Alrighty, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Spotlight. Today we have the world famous Vinnie Cataldo, who, judging by his Instagram story, has just been experience collecting since then, since we had him on the last episode, and I see him on every famous person's post ever. So, Vinny, why don't you go ahead and just update us, introduce yourself, and some of the important things that viewers should know about you.
Yeah, so I'm Vinnie Cataldo. I was on an episode a little while ago. I'm involved in Student Union Board. I am top team member, as what they say.
Woo!
Part of the bowling club. And just recently, I became a producer for Iowa State podcast called Cornfield Sports Pod with Matt Metzen and Blake Peterson.
Hey, yeah, Matt, my boy. I still need to watch that just to see exactly how your producing job is. But I don't even know where to start. I guess we'll start with the breaking news. We were both there for the sub Gus event, which was
my goodness.
the most insane experience on my end. I mean, it was so bizarre for me because that was my first sub event ever working. It was the After Dark where Giancarlo Esposito comes and performs and does a stand-up.
He does the moderated conversation by your buddy Alex Brown.
He does by the legend meat sweatshirt guy Alex Brown.
Heck yeah.
And so we had Alex Brown do that moderation, and we crammed 700 people in the Great Hall.
It was. I thought Christian had said it was something more. It was at least 800. So it was close to 700.
Yeah,
but it was just a massive amount of people.
So we had people camping out, waiting to get involved, waiting to watch.
I thought people camping out for Taylor Swift was bad. Camping out at Iowa State for Giancarlo Esposito, man,
it's crazy. Well, so we had I don't know, maybe 15 people waiting out there for the entire day.
When we first got in, there was already at least 20 people waiting, and it's we don't open doors till an hour, and Giancarlo didn't come on till 11 o'clock. We opened doors at 8:30. There was still somebody before him, which I found totally insane.
Yeah, and so we have people who come in and are vying for that front seat.
Oh my God, people were running. I'm like, guys, come on, this isn't a concert. This is a moderated conversation at an After Dark at a college.
Which was so crazy because we got the 800 people crammed into that room, and then we had 300 people waiting out to get into the performance still. So we had a packed thing. Everyone was super good, and then a fire alarm goes off.
Oh my God.
And then we have to evacuate 800 people. It's the most stressed out I've ever seen most of these people.
I'm not gonna lie. For a second, I saw the flash, and I'm like, who the heck is taking pictures? And then all of a sudden it keeps going off. And then the actual alarm goes off and people are like, oh. And I'm like, please tell me this is not freaking happening.
Dude, that was
like, oh my God, are you kidding me? Of all the times. And it has to be the busiest After Dark.
I know, it was so crazy because, people had been waiting out there for so long, and then 300 people didn't get in. You should have seen the joy on their faces when that alarm went off, and they thought for a second I'd be able to come back in and get that. Could you imagine waiting for 5 hours and then not getting your seat back?
Dude, you would not believe how incredibly peeved I would be if that were the case. And then to leave your stuff there and then you can't get back in. Oh my gosh, that would be insane to think about.
Well, what was even crazier is once they had said, if you guys keep acting, because people were pushing and shoving and yelling, once you keep acting this way, we'll cancel the event. And then everyone started chanting, "We want Gus."
Dude, I thought we
were gonna riot.
Dude, no, and Dorothy was standing out there. I was like, she is gonna be. This is bad. I was like, she's gonna probably get hurt.
I just couldn't imagine, my first ever
event you work is probably the most stressful one that we ever did.
The way they were talking was so funny. They were like, hold the doors that are coming, and I could hear people running down. I thought we were gonna start nailing up boards like it was Black Ops Zombies.
Oh my God, it felt like The Walking Dead. People were running, we're like, push the doors!
Yeah, they're like, stop shoving!
Oh my God. No, literally, it was intense. And then then when Christian finally was like, okay, we're gonna let in 10 at a time, 3 people in, already people are starting to push, and then they're like, stop. I'm like, this is not good.
Yeah, it's this is the most insane. And the funniest thing is because I would love to hear Alex's. We still have to chat about what happened, but he was in there with Giancarlo for 20 minutes.
Exactly. It's just what was he doing? He's just chilling in the back, and they're just having fun. It's we're all out here losing our minds, going crazy. Alex is in the back, just this is fine. So how you been?
Yeah, he's just chilling, just chatting him up.
Exactly. I was talking today to him about it, and I was telling him you got to get on for a part 2 for Spotlight. He's like, I would if I had the time.
Yeah, I would say he barely has the time to even like sit in and.
He barely has the time to just do anything.
I
He's
would
just
say.
now with him becoming special events
Mhm.
director with Pony. He's gonna have a lot less time on his hand.
Which is, I mean, already for Alex is pretty big.
Yeah.
But we're here to talk about the legend, the man, the myth, the legend, Vincent, Vinicius C.
Vinicius C.
The legend himself. So I guess walk me through some of the stuff you've been doing since we last talked.
So I attended my first Comic-Con,
Right. Where was this?
Des Moines Con.
Okay, Des Moines Con. And was this most recent?
So Des Moines Con was the first one I attended. The most recent one that I attended was Animate Des Moines.
Okay, so the Des Moines Comic Con was one I saw you at.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, and so walk me through. Well, who'd you meet? What'd you do?
So right away, when I first found out who was going to be there, when I found out Vincent Martella, voice of Phineas, David Yost, Blue Ranger, Amy Jo Johnson, Pink Ranger, the voice of Ferb, and then Tom Ruger, the guy who made Animaniacs. That was already my huge radar. But the one that caught my eye, Tom Kenny.
Yeah, I would say, and that was a long line for that one. Too.
Okay, so funny story about that. I'm good we're talking about this now. So it had to have been at least like 12:30. I get there. Line's already ridiculous. So I'm in the line, standing in there. It becomes about like 1:30 and I'm nearing the front. All of a sudden he leaves. His booth. He leaves his booth when there's like a line of people. And then I'm looking around like what's happening and somebody says in the front, he went to go have lunch.
Damn.
And it had already been like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
An hour and a half of waiting. And then it's like, well, what do we do now? Like, do we
leave and like save our spot in line?
Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
But then he comes back and then I meet him.
How'd that go?
Oh my God, it was so much fun. I couldn't talk because it's like you're meeting the person who made your childhood. But funny story. So my cousin who went to Kentucky, he was downtown in March. And when at the time Lexington Comic-Con was going on. So, and guess who was there?
Tom Kenny?
Tom Kenny.
Yeah.
So it was like late at night and they're outside of a bar. Who is walking down the street? Tom Kenny and his agent.
Wait, what?
Yeah, no, like legit. So they're walking down the street. My cousin sees him and is like, "Are you the voice of SpongeBob?" He's like, "Yeah, I am." And he gets a picture and everything. And then
For free?
Yeah, for free.
Dang.
And so afterwards he asked him like Tom Kenny asked like, "We're looking for this bar. Do you guys know where it is?" And they're like, "Yeah, it's just a few blocks that way." So they're walking away. And my cousin's like, "Why don't we go to the bar that he's going to? We know where he's going." So they go there. And he tells me like nobody is recognizing him.
Yeah.
I'm like,
well, with voice actors, it's
that's
harder.
true. But like,
It's harder.
I feel like people like
I do recognize his face, and I don't really know why I do, but I
like
do.
if like in SpongeBob, he wasn't just SpongeBob. He played like Patchy the Pirate. I mean, that face is kind of recognizable.
Mhm.
But with the beard and everything, it's probably
it's harder. Yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, so he goes to the bar, sees Tom, talks with his agent for like 2 hours, and he shows him like a whole list of like people that Tom has met. So then at the show, I get in line. I'm texting my cousin like, "Hey, I'm at Tom Kenny's booth." He's like, "Look for Oscar, who's his agent." So I snap a photo of him like, "This it?" He's like, "Yeah, talk to him." So I go up to him and I'm like, "Do you by chance know my cousin Jake Kaufman?" He's like, "I meet a lot of people, dude, so I probably would know." I show him the photo. He's like, "Oh, I know that kid. That's Mushroom Kid."
Mushroom Kid?
It's a long story, not family friendly. We'll have to tell you some other time. But so yeah, and then I'm next in line to meet Tom. I go over and his agent's like, "Hey, this guy's no Mushroom Kid." And I'm like, "Yeah, he's my cousin." He's like, "Oh, that's so cool. What's your name?" I'm like, "Vinny." He's like, "Hey, Vinny, nice to meet you." So then, of course, with Tom Kenny, you couldn't do a table selfie.
Mhm.
You had to buy the photo op separately.
Yeah.
So later on is the photo op. I'm going up to him and would you know it? I walk up, he's like, "Hey, Vinny, good to see you again."
Nice.
And I'm like, did he just remember my name?
That's crazy.
Like, oh my gosh.
That's crazy.
It
What?
was one of the most surreal moments ever in my life to hear the name Vinny come out of Tom Kenny's mouth.
Mm-hmm.
It was crazy. But then that was just the one day. So then there was I got to meet Tom Ruger, the voice, or the guy who made Animaniacs. I don't know if you ever heard that show.
Does he voice the Animaniacs, or did
No,
he just, like,
he just made it. But it's still like a cult classic show. So basically I went up to him and was like, "Hey, so I just got to ask, how did a lot of those sexual innuendos and adult jokes get past the censor?" He's like, "Well, that's all thanks to Steven Spielberg, who also made the show. It was
I
like,
didn't know Steven Spielberg.
yeah,
made
it's a
that
Steven
show.
Spielberg
Yeah.
production. So he was telling me like Steven Spielberg was filming, it was some movie, I can't remember what it was, but he was filming it overseas. And when they had sent the episodes to NBC or Fox, they were like, we have to go over these jokes. And they're like, well, you can call Steven, but he's all the way in like Poland doing the movie. And keep in mind, back in the 90s, calling overseas was like, you had to pay a ridiculous amount of money.
Mm-hmm.
So they're like, screw it, we're just gonna release the episodes. Yeah, literally. It was crazy. It was so funny too, because like he was so nice. Like we took the photo and then his guy's like, let's do a zany one. So we did like an open mouth, thumbs up. It was so funny.
Wait, so he's just like requesting. He's just like your bro. Like, that's so cool
literally.
hearing the stories from the source. It's like a micro podcast episode. Every conversation you have.
And what's
with
even
these
more
people.
funny was he's like, so what are you doing right now? I'm like, well, I'm a student at Iowa State. He's like, what are you studying? And I'm like, okay, we're gonna get into this. So I'm like, I'm studying communication. I want to be a sports broadcaster. He's like, for that you need to have a good voice. And I'm like, yeah, but I don't know if it's really like that good. He's like, well, I mean, you have a great voice talking to me. I'm like, and he's like, we're a complete stranger. I'm like, true. But then again, you're also the guy who made one of the best animated TV shows of all time. So, but it was so funny to like go through like a talk with this guy who made a huge hit animated TV show. Like it was like one of those things where you're like, is this really happening right now?
Yeah.
So then after that was I met Vincent Martella, the voice of Phineas on Phineas and Ferb, which was so much fun. You know how like most of the time, like if you meet those like people at like Comic-Cons, they'll say like, do you want like this personalized? So I'm like, can you make, I'm waiting to say this for a long time. Can you make this out to Vinny? He's like, hey, another Vinny. Awesome.
Nice. Yeah.
So that was fun. And then I met the guy who like the current voice of Ferb.
Was that a personalized autograph or
Yeah.
did you do? Okay.
So, and then like basically they just write to Vinny and then that's it. But then you could have him write like to Vinny, best wishes. And like with David Yost, he wrote, it's, oh God, what was it? It's morphin time. I think that's.
It's Morbin time.
Morphin. I don't know. Like at least it's Morbius time.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, and then the guy who did Phineas and Ferb, voice of Ferb, named David Ergo Jr. Found out he was actually one of the biggest Phineas and Ferb fans. So getting the call to play Ferb was huge.
Wow.
Yeah, can you like imagine?
I
Like,
didn't even imagine that because Ferb doesn't talk until like what, the last episode, right? It's like
he talks like, well, I mean,
very rarely.
yeah,
It's
they
like,
added. I feel like they added more dialogue to him as the series goes on because it's just like, you know, he can't just stick. I mean,
be like nothing.
we're paying him. We're paying the voice actor for just one line.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like we have to get him like.
Uh-huh.
It's like that's not going to earn us anything.
Yeah, that's really crazy having a show named after a character that does not have a voice actor. Did he like replace a voice actor for Ferb?
Yeah.
Or, oh, okay. I thought like they just didn't even bother hiring a voice actor until halfway through the show. And they're like, let's make him talk.
Yeah.
And then like they found some fan to do it.
But yeah, this is the guy. He was he appeared in like Milo Murphy's Law. I don't know if you've ever seen that show. It's like it's a show created by the guys who made Phineas and Ferb.
Okay.
So he appeared in a few episodes of that, and then the movie that just came out, and then he's going to be the voice of Ferb for the new series.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So that happened. Met David Yost, which was amazing. It was just so crazy, like, because he's always been one of my favorite Rangers. And so I asked him, like, because I know that he's from Iowa.
Mm-hmm.
So I asked him, like, is it true that you're from Iowa? He's like, so I was born in Council Bluffs. I think that's where he was. And he's like, I moved to the Monai when I was little. And then when I was very little, we moved to California.
Yeah.
Which is crazy, like, to see, like, a guy who plays one of the greatest Power Rangers from Iowa.
Yeah. And it was funny. I like met him, but I didn't know him at all because I didn't watch Power Rangers. I was just in line with Alex.
I was about to say, was Alex just the one who wanted to meet him?
No, Alex was just the one who I never watched Power Rangers as a kid. And so like I just gotta like shake his hand and he's like, hey, what's up? I think no, I took the picture of them two together. I was like, I don't think I took a picture with him, but like I shook it and he's like, how's it going, man? And I was like, this is just like really funny.
Also, the craziest thing is he's buff.
He's buff.
For his age.
He's a short king, but he's buff for sure.
He is small. Like I stood next to him, I'm like, I'm a little bit taller than him. That's crazy. And then Amy Jo Johnson, that was insane. Because like she was one of the most busy lines.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah. Her line was long.
Yeah, I'd say Alex was explaining all the Power Rangers lore to me. Like I was like, I didn't know this was.
There's lore.
Well, just like how it was filmed, I didn't know that it was like a Japanese show originally. That they just like recorded their own things over the action sequences, like all the action sequences are just like siphoned directly from like a different show, and then everything else is like recorded. So I thought that was really cool. Just some other like random Power Rangers facts and stuff because he was a pretty big fan. So those are really fun. And so, if you don't mind me asking, in total, how much did you spend at Comic-Con?
Oh boy, are we talking both shows or just
Comic-Con Des Moines? Yeah.
Probably about like almost $400.
Oh, okay. I was expecting something like disgusting. 400 is like, if you're not into it.
Just wait till we get into Animates Des Moines.
I was say, if you're not into it, you don't get it. But 400 is not as bad for what I was seeing for Comic-Con. So the only person I met, and I had to look up his name. I remembered his last name was Johnson, but I saw Wes Johnson, who that was the coolest thing for me because you can just talk to the people for free. Like you don't need to buy anything. And I just saw like his Oblivion NPC character, the guard, on like online on the Comic-Con thing, and I was like, no way is he here right now. And I look in no line. Not a single person.
That's how it felt with Phineas and Ferb. Like there was no line. I'm like, are you serious? How was there not a line? So I literally walked up and just was like, hey, how you doing? I'm Vinny. Nice to meet you. I want to get the photo and table selfie and stuff like that. It's just like, how do they not have a line? And then I remembered everybody was at Tom Kenny's line.
Yeah. And I get the, like, if you're going to wait, like it takes maybe a second to like go talk to him because nobody's there. But it was just so crazy having a conversation with him. And I got him to do some of the poison sound effects, like the yes. It's really funny, and just some other shenanigans. But it's really cool. I'm getting an affinity for meeting famous people. It took me a while, but I've met a few now, and now I'm ready to go. So.
Nice, that's awesome.
Okay, so then you did the Des Moines Comic-Con, and it kind of for the viewers who don't really understand this, it kind of explain where this passion comes from of like meeting people, because you definitely enjoy meeting people and being on being on these people's Instagrams, like seeing bands, playing with them, talking to them. Like, there is some internal mechanism that's making you enjoy this that other people don't have. Like, walk me through that.
I think it comes down to really like, it's just fun meeting people who have been like, who made your childhood. Like Tom Kenny, meeting Tom Kenny, the voice of SpongeBob. It's just like, you get that like feeling of like, I got to meet this guy. It's going to stick with you for a while. And I feel like that's just where the excitement comes from. It's like, you meet these people who have been like in all these TV shows, and it's just like to see them like in your hometown doing like a Comic-Con. It's like, it's a once in a lifetime chance. So it's almost like you don't want to like throw that away. You want to just be there. And even if like you don't have to buy anything, you just tell them like, hey, just thank you for everything. Thank you for being like a huge part of my childhood and stuff like that. It's just, that's where the fun comes in. I feel like it's just telling them like how much they meant, how much like their character or they have meant to you. It's just amazing like that I think about.
Do you think that extends into adulthood of maybe some of the people that you've seen, like with Giancarlo? Like, I'd imagine you started watching Breaking Bad within the last couple of years, or not when you were
last year.
Yeah, within the last year. So like that's a freshly new want for you to go meet this person. So how does that kind of extend to people that are new? Because I feel like it would extend to just famous people in general, or just people of a certain status. And so how does that extend to?
It's much of like, you meet these, like getting to meet them for free. That's just another thing. It's like, you don't have to pay anything. You get the photo, you get a poster and stuff like that. It's like, you just get like, it's like with like a child, you get that feeling of just like satisfaction. Like you're satisfied that you've met this person and stuff like that. That's just how I see it, basically.
Yeah. Okay, so then walk me through how Animate Des Moines,
Yeah, so that one was different. So, Des Moines Con was just 2 days. It was a Saturday and Sunday. This one was 3 days.
Okay.
So, it started on the Friday, and there were a bunch of people there who I already wanted to meet. So, the first person I met was Jason Marsden. I don't know if you know who that is. You ever seen the Goofy movie?
Yeah.
So, he plays Max.
The kid?
Yeah.
Wow, what an obscure, one role.
Well, he's basically another version of Tom Kenny. Like, you would not believe how many voices. Like, have you, like, the Fairly Odd Parents?
Yeah.
Chester, the kid with the braces?
Yeah.
So he played him.
That's crazy.
After Frankie Muniz, though.
Yeah.
But, like, it was just one of those things that you never, like, realized until, like, you go up to their booth and they have,
you
like,
see the pictures of everything.
They have the backdrop of, like, all their, like, characters that they've done and stuff like that. I'm trying not to say like so much because my mom brought it up
I get it.
in the last podcast. I'm like, I'm gonna stop.
I struggle with it super bad, so I get it.
So I went up and just talked to him. Said
See, you mentioned it.
Yeah,
now every audience
yeah.
member is going to be thinking about every time you say the word like.
So brought it up like, hey, just thank you for being a huge part of, I grew up, like my childhood, I grew up watching the Goofy movie a lot. And I always loved hearing you play Max. I learned more when going to animate, like you could talk to these people for a while. Like, especially like I got there super early, like he was already setting up his table. So I could talk to him for a while. And which I did. And I was telling him, it just was awesome. Like, and I saw his backdrop. I'm like, you played this character? He's like, oh yeah, of course. I'm like, I did not know that. That's insane. It's like, you don't realize when you're like going to the thing, like how much they've like been a part.
Mm-hmm.
So it was interesting to see what he's done. And then I told them, like, we were going through like,
dude, don't even worry about it. Don't even worry about it. The second you get in there, you can't get out. So,
Yeah. So I was telling him there's some great places downtown to go to. What are you into? He's like, I love to like go to like a bar or something like that. And I told him Uptown in East Village, great place, great. They got pizza, but it's really good. It's from Fong's. I don't know if you've ever been to downtown. So Fong's Pizza, Uptown gets it from Fong's, and it goes to Uptown. So I told him, if you want good pizza at a cheap price, that's a place. Tons of old arcade games. At Fong's Pizza, small, but great pizza and everything. There's also like that little strip down there of like, I'm blanking a little bit. Basically, Platform, which is like a dance club. Ricochet, which is like another barcade, but there's like more like tabletop games. So they have like skee ball, they have foosball, shuffle or slide board, whatever you call it.
Yeah.
And then I was telling him, just it's been amazing to meet you and stuff like that. And then I met Josh Keaton. I don't know if you know who that is.
Yeah, I think when you say these names, you're going to just have to say like they're iconic roles, because you can tell me a name and I probably will know like, what they're doing, but I will not recognize it by their name.
Well, the biggest guy that Josh Keaton played was Spectacular Spider-Man.
Oh, okay. And I actually did not grow up watching that, unfortunately.
Oh, wow.
But I know the Spectacular Spider-Man.
Yeah. So he grew up playing Spectacular Spider-Man. I don't know if you've seen Across the Spider-Verse.
Mm-hmm.
So he shows up. Yeah. He's one of the roles where he's like, we know it's hard, but it's the truth, Miles.
Yeah.
That's Josh Keaton. So I was talking to him about like a bunch of his roles, and then I brought up that, have you played the original Spider-Man game, like from like the tie-in movie on like the old PlayStation?
Okay, yeah.
So originally he was going to be the voice of Peter Parker until Tobey Maguire came available to record dialogue. So then all of his stuff was scrapped.
Yeah, and Tobey Maguire recorded probably the worst dialogue in any game ever.
Let's not get into that. That's going to be a whole different story. But so I talked to him about like, what was it like when Tobey was brought on and they were telling you like, your dialogue's not going to be used anymore. He's like, well, I mean, they could have scrapped it altogether and just thrown it away, but they actually recasted all of his lines into an unlockable deal or like a unlockable version after you beat the game. So you play as Harry, as the Green Goblin.
Okay.
And it's basically the exact same story, but you're just playing as Harry, but they use Josh Keaton's voices for it. So it's not like completely gone, but like it's like most of the dialogue is not saved.
Okay. That's really cool.
But I was talking to him about that. Like, just what was it like when they told you that your dialogue was going to be scrapped? He's like, well, I mean, they were good about it. They were telling me like, we're not going to use it, but we're going to rehash it into Harry. So he's like, at least I got some compensation for it.
Yeah.
That was fun. We talked a little about Fallout because he's also a Twitch streamer. So
oh wow, okay,
yeah,
that's it's the next step.
Yeah, I gotta remember what his name is. If you look him up on like Twitter, I think he'll have
like his handle.
Yeah. But his voice is like so interesting to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, we just talked about Fallout, and he's like, "Have you played the new one yet?" I'm like, "No, not really." He's like, "Try to get into it." All the mumbo jumbo of Fallout.
Yeah, the Fallout universe. Fallout 4 was pretty good.
Yeah. So
okay, who else did you meet?
So, you ever watch The Office?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so this is a very obscure character. He's only been in like 3 episodes. You remember the character Rolf?
Yeah, is that one? That's one of Dwight's goons. Yeah.
So in the volleyball episode, he's like the coach for the.
Yeah.
So I met him. We talked about The Office and stuff. Brought up things of like, what was it like being on The Office, playing with like starring on alongside like my Steve Carell, John Krasinski. He's like, it was the most amazing time of my life.
Yeah.
I'm like, damn, that's cool.
It'd be really crazy.
Yeah.
I just rewatched and finished it like a couple months
really?
ago. So yeah, it's fresh on the noggin.
So yeah, funny. So that happened, and then I was leaving. I'm like, hey, thanks, man. Have a great day. He's like, hold on, you still got to pay. I was like, oh shit, you're right.
Did you take a picture?
Yeah, I got a picture.
Oh, okay. I thought you were saying you got to pay to like talk to him.
No,
I was like,
no,
that's
no.
insane.
So I got an autograph from him, and then I got the photo, which was funny because as we were taking the selfie, the photographer for the entire Comic-Con is right in front of us, and we're doing the selfie. He's like photographing me as I'm doing the selfie.
Yeah.
And then he's like, do you want like the guy to get the photo?
Yeah.
I'm like, wouldn't that be
Absolutely.
great? So I got the photo with him. I talked to him a little bit more, and then of course I forget to pay because I'm having so much fun talking to him, and I'm leaving. He's like, hold on, you still gotta pay. I'm like, shoot, you're right. That's my bad.
You should have ran.
I'm gone.
Yeah.
But
Do you have a folder in your phone with all these like photos?
Yeah.
Like, unorganized.
oh
Like,
my gosh, I have like I favorite every single time I meet like a famous person or like a interesting thing that happens.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was gonna bring we'll get into this in a second, but I was gonna bring something from my apartment that would have been cool to share on
Okay.
video.
Yeah.
So after that, gosh, who do I meet next? There were so many people I met. It was insane. I'd have to. Pull
Yeah,
it
I would
up on
say
my phone.
if you rapid fire, just because I'd imagine you've met like probably dozens of people now.
It's insane. So I met. I don't know if you don't know anything about anime. That's what you told me. A little bit.
Go ahead and drop a name and
So
for the audience.
Zach Aguilar, he plays Tanjiro in Demon Slayer. So I know him a little bit from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. He worked alongside Billy Kometz, who sadly passed away from colon cancer. But I had seen an interview of him, and I realized he's like my age. So
What?
I was like, yeah, it's so weird, like to work alongside these like famous actors at like my age. It's crazy. So I talked to him a little bit. I told him like, I found you from the interview that you did with Billy Kometz about JoJo's Bizarre Adventure and stuff like that. And he's like, do you know me from like? And the only thing I brought was his headshot.
Yeah.
So it's like I don't know you from anything else. And I'm starting to think like, wouldn't it be nice if these people at Comic-Cons would sell like photos of them, but like a collage of like you in like the middle, but then all your characters around it? That would be so cool because then like you could get the photo with them, but also like they have like all your characters that like you would know.
That way people know like what the character even does.
Yeah, that's like when I got Jim Cummings. I don't know if Winnie the Pooh. So he does.
I know Winnie the Pooh, but
yeah, but he does the voice of Winnie the Pooh and Tigger.
Okay.
So I got this photo. This one's gonna be funny. So I ended up ordering the photo of him from his website, and it's a collage photo. It's him in the middle, and then all of his characters around. I ordered it back in June. It didn't get to me until August, of course. But it was also around the time of like it's his Comic-Con time, and he's going like city to city and stuff, and he doesn't have time to be in like sign stuff. So I get the photo. Apparently, they don't know how to package it because they put it in an envelope, a folder, and just shipped it out. No, like
special packaging.
Yeah.
Or...
It just was thrown into a folder. And literally, it is one of the craziest things ever. Like you would not even believe it for a second. Like that's some of the damage done.
Oh my God. It looked like it was like folded.
It was.
Damn. So you ordered it autographed?
Yeah.
I thought you ordered it to get it autographed.
No, it's ordered. I ordered it autographed.
Wow.
Yeah. So
And they didn't send you another one?
No.
I mean, I told you last episode I ordered that Tenacious D
did you?
comic book, and it was signed by them. But the corner was like broken, so they just gave me another one signed by. So I have 2 signed by them.
Really?
Yeah.
That's so cool. Like, how bad is that? How bad is that bent on the corner?
It's not bent. It's a hardcover book. And then like it looks like someone just like ripped like an inch off the bottom.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, dude! I would be so mad if that
So
was
yeah,
me.
but they gave us another. Like they gave me another. So I was like, that's sick. So I have 2 now.
Nice. So yeah, and then I met Dana Snyder. I don't know if you know. So like he's been in like a ton of stuff. Like I don't know if you ever heard of the show Aqua Teen Hunger Force.
Yeah. Which one was he?
He's Shake, Master Shake.
Okay. Yeah.
Dude,
yeah.
and I kid you not, same exact voice when you meet him.
Yeah.
Like he does not change character. He is zany each time you meet him. Like
His voice is really fun too.
oh my goodness, it's so
Does he do the chicken nugget as well? The
Yes!
meatball?
he does everything.
Yeah.
Like it's so funny. Like some guy got the like full package, so you get like a photo, you get autograph, but then you get a voice recording.
Yeah.
He did a voicemail for literally everything. Like he did like his Master Shake voice, he did Gazpacho from Chowder.
Yeah.
He did
It was gazpacho?
He was
That's
Gazpacho.
so sick.
Dude, it was so funny. And then like he takes a photo with you, he puts his arm around you, and then they're like, okay, 1, 2, 3, and he goes,
What?
No,
He's, like, trying
literally-
to get you to jump or
no, like literally, and then you're like laughing because like it just like freaks you out.
Yeah.
Because then like when he told me to look back at the photo, and when he zoomed in, he's like, see that right there, that's pure enjoyment.
Yeah.
All the other ones, no, not
Yeah.
even close.
Yeah.
That one, pure enjoyment. So I told him, thanks for everything. Thanks for being a huge part. My childhood, I used to secretly watch Aqua Teen Hunger Force on Adult Swim when
I
my
was
parents went to bed.
That show would only play at like 3 a.m. when I
Yeah.
woke up, like go
Yeah.
to get some water or something.
Yeah.
So, show's a fever dream.
But he was so nice. Like he just did not break character, and that's what I found the best part.
I say I couldn't imagine hearing that voice coming out of a human mouth. It's
Oh,
just
dude,
a
it's
super
so
bizarre
funny.
voice.
And then like so I took Saturday off to watch the Iowa State game,
Mhm.
and then I went back Sunday for all these like panels. So they had like Q&A panels and stuff. So first one I did was Jason Marsden.
I've heard that name, but I couldn't tell you who he
That's the guy who played Max Goof.
Oh, okay, yeah. I heard
Yeah.
the name because you just said it.
Yeah. So I asked him, do you feel like you had parallels to Max Goof or any character that you played? Unfortunately, because of the writer's strike, they had to be like, you couldn't be specific.
Okay.
So you had to be like, do you feel like you have parallels to characters that you've played?
Yeah.
So like, I can't say like Max Goof. I can't say like a Goofy movie.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, really? You can't
That's
make an exception?
very bizarre.
Yeah. So he's like, no, I really don't. I don't have any parallels to Max Goof, because he went into the thing like, Max is kind of like the anti-hero.
Okay.
Um.
I'm not like I watched when did the Goofy movie come out?
Oh God, like in the 90s.
Yeah, like I feel like I watched it when I was 4. Like,
On the old VHS.
Yeah, honestly, it was that and the Brave Little Toaster. Like that
Oh
thing played
my
those 2
goodness.
monsters, and then Iron Giant and a couple other classics.
See, growing up in a Christian household, we didn't have any of that. We just had VeggieTales.
VeggieTales also on the VHS tape.
Oh man. And
Yeah.
then so I did next one I did was with Josh Keaton. I asked him, what was your favorite moment playing playing Peter Parker?
Yeah.
And he's like, seeing Black Cat's actress walk in off her motorcycle in a full black suit.
Dang.
I'm like, whoa,
You're like,
okay,
hey.
just imagine that.
Yeah.
And then another one that I met that I didn't bring up was, have you ever heard of the YouTube like series Cyanide and Happiness?
Oh my God, yeah. Which one did you meet? Zach?
I met, oh my God, I think it's Michael Stewart, Cotter Murphy, and Adam Holesha. All 3 were guys who have like kind of worked.
Adam
Holesha.
Holesha? Is his name also?
No, not that. No. Oh my gosh. It's some name. I can't remember.
I was mixing Cyanide. I know Cyanide and Happiness. I have their card game. I love Cyanide and Happiness. I was mixing them up with Oni and G and like
Yeah.
Psychic Pebbles. So, but yeah. Anyway, wait. So you met Cyanide and Happiness? That's so sick.
So at their booth, their biggest thing was if you buy $40 worth of stuff, you get a free drawing.
Okay, yeah.
So I bought $40 worth of stuff.
Uh-huh.
I ended up getting that.
That's really. They drew that in person.
They drew it in person. And normally they would be like, it could be as it's gonna appear. It'd take a little bit of focus.
I don't think it's happening.
It's gonna get close.
It's a good one. It's a
Yeah.
good one.
if you follow me on social media, you probably will see it eventually.
I wish I had Alex here and you could have just sent him a zip file so he could just like pull up the
Yeah.
stuff on screen, because I imagine there's a ton of pictures and stuff. of
There
you and
is.
people.
But
Maybe
yeah.
if you send me stuff, I'll edit them in.
Yeah.
No way, but go ahead.
Yeah. But that was the craziest one because they said like we can make it as like explicit as you want, and I'm like, can you just make it just the 3 of us or the 4 of us, just right then, just me in the middle, giving the thumbs up and stuff. And funny enough, so one of the guys actually took a picture of it and posted it on his actual Instagram.
That's what I'm saying. You're just like on this. You're just well known. You know what I mean?
And I didn't find out until like weeks later. I was like scrolling through and I saw like he was on there, and I'm scrolling through all the pictures and I see mine. I'm like, what? He put mine on there?
It's probably one of the few that's super Instagram appropriate, I'd imagine.
Yeah. But yeah, that was pretty much, and I spent around $500.
Damn. I guess in combination with Comic-Con, it's a lot, but like, on its own, I mean,
and there were a few people that I did want to meet, but then I'm like, my budget's not gonna. It's not gonna be good enough.
Well, I mean, did you just meet them though? Like, for this one, did you have to pay to meet them?
No, this one was like you can just walk up and like. Okay. So like, I walked up to Josh Keaton and I just said, thank you for everything. Thank you just for being like the voice of like my childhood. I didn't know that you were the voice of so many people, and now I know. He's like, hey, thanks, man. I appreciate it. So it was just, it's like, that's what I found going to Comic-Cons later. Like when I went to Des Moines Con, like I was very much just like, hey, thanks, man. Like I got the photo, got the autograph and stuff. And, I was like, hey, thanks, man. Appreciate it. Have a good day and stuff. Now it's like, I can go up and be like, so just what was it like working on this? Because like you can like talk. That's what I find so fun about Comic-Cons. Like you can engage with them. You don't have to pay.
Yeah.
You can engage with these famous people and not have to like pay a dime.
Mm-hmm. And that's the coolest thing because it really humanizes them like really quickly.
Yeah.
When you just get to hear them talk and like you hear them like stumble on their words or they say something that doesn't really make sense and you're like, that's so cool. Like I just watched a really distinctive human moment.
And then you can like ask them to like do like voices.
Yeah.
And then that like when I got a video recording from Jason Marsden for Sub. Mm-hmm. And he did his Max voice and he did his Chester voice. Yeah. I was like, whoa.
No, see, that stuff's super cool. And I will say though, the issue I've run into, and I felt kind of bad afterwards, is there is this, I don't know, kind of character trope with people where I feel bad when I'm asking them to do something. Like it's like Dance Monkey, you know what I mean? Like I go up and I'm like, do the thing, you know what I mean? And I imagine they get asked that a ton of times. And I'm trying to make sure that when I do meet these people, because hopefully my connections with this or other things like extend far enough. Hopefully when I'm asking people things, I'm asking them like complex questions or like things that they haven't heard before. Like I really want to start doing that.
Like my friend Travis, when you brought that up, like he has been through the ropes of pro wrestling. Like he's he's been on WWE a few times.
He's been on WWE?
Yeah.
Wrestling?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's sick. Yeah. Ask him what it's like to have John Cena's nuts in his mouth.
Unfortunately, he's only been in squash matches, which is like where the one like main roster guy destroys the independent pro wrestlers.
Who do you get destroyed by?
Old wrestler from the Wyatt family, Eric Rowan. He's the guy, bald head, long red beard.
They're all bald. Except for the Undertaker.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So I'm trying to think what I do want to get because I feel like I'm probably not giving you enough conversation for the people that you've met and the audience members who are listening to this are like, that's insane. So if you can as quick as possible list off all the people that you've met and like the thing that they've done, you know what I mean? Like just so I can get this, because I assume you have that tracked somewhere.
I got it tracked right here.
Yeah. So like just run through so people could be like, oh, that's crazy, just so they know how obscure it is to meet someone who's talked to.
So first one I met, like biggest one was the Bowling for Soup. I met them.
And you were on their podcast, which I should mention.
Yeah.
We talked about last episode, which is crazy.
So then I met the Newsboys, which is a Christian group. They played actually at Stevens back in 2019.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Funny enough of that, I actually got to go on stage and sing with them.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Because you also played drums for the Green Day band.
I did. And then I met Jerry the King Lawler. He's a Hall of Famer for the WWE. We'll talk about it a little bit later. I met the cast of Napoleon Dynamite.
That's crazy.
That one, and funny enough, that one was right before COVID hit.
Who was all in the cast?
John Heater, Pedro.
Their character names.
So Napoleon, Pedro, and Uncle Rico. All three of them.
I love Uncle Rico.
Dude, it was so much fun. And my sister actually, she went with me. She skipped school because she was actually still in high school at the time. So we went, and she basically went up to John Heder and was like, I just want to let you know, you're the reason why I'm in love with nerdy guys.
Good. Good. What a line to hear.
Yeah. So then, because of COVID, I really couldn't do anything. But I did do a signing through this thing called V-Shout. Basically, it's where you can buy an autograph, but then you can also get a personalized message. So I got Hawk, Miguel, and Johnny from Cobra Kai. I got autographs from them.
Nice.
I got personalized videos, which is the best.
Okay, cool. Do you still have the videos?
Oh, I do.
Of
They're
course.
on my phone.
Of course you do.
I didn't really meet anybody later on until Winter Jam 2022, where I met Skillet.
Wow.
Yeah.
What does meeting mean in that context? Like
You paid for the meet and greet.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And then I met Mick Foley, old WWF wrestler, probably the most hardcore wrestler. Met the guy who played Squint in The Sandlot.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
He was pretty old though when you met him.
No, he actually is like in his 40s.
Oh, okay, that's not bad. That's not bad.
Met the kid from Rookie of the Year. It's a long story. It's a long story. I met the guy who played. You ever seen the Mighty Ducks?
I hear about it a lot, but I haven't seen it.
You ever heard of Goldberg?
I've heard of that name. Yeah,
I met him actually after his old stint. Like, I don't know if you ever heard about, like, he had some legal history, which was kind of tough.
Damn.
It was
like Skillet and these wrestlers, all these people that will just beat the shit out of you.
Yeah. And then I met Steve-O.
Yeah,
which is huge.
After dark.
Really, I did not meet anybody till
The
Des Moines Con.
Comic-Cons, yeah.
And then pretty much, I didn't meet anybody.
Was there anybody you didn't mention for Des Moines Con or the?
I met Ross Marquand. He's Red Skull.
Oh, okay, yeah. I saw that he was there too.
Yeah, he was actually a lot of fun.
Ooh.
He was most talkative.
What else has he done other than Red Skull?
He's done The Walking Dead. I got a photo of him from The Walking Dead.
Okay,
which
cool.
I've never seen The Walking Dead. But
I've never seen The Walking Dead either.
The biggest thing I look for in like getting photos signed is I want like a shot of like what you look like now. So like when I got an autograph from Matthew Lillard, aka William Afton.
Yeah, which is crazy that's the new thing that he is. But,
that's like I feel like that's what he's gonna be known as. He's not gonna be known as Shaggy
anymore, or
the guy from Scream. He's literally gonna be known as William Afton from Five Nights at Freddy's,
which is insane. Yeah, never thought I'd see the day.
Yeah, so here. I got a photo from him from this a site called Mintage Auctions, which is they do like horror related stuff.
Okay,
so. They had a picture of him in the trailer when he's like had his like hands like that. Got that signed, and I just had it personalized to Vinny. Keep being awesome, and it's just from Matthew Lillard.
But that you didn't meet him.
I haven't met him yet, but I'm really hoping when they announce the lineup for Des Moines Con
that he'll be there.
I'm keeping my fingers crossed. Like I want to see like Elijah Wood.
Yeah,
I want to see some Cobra Kai people. I want to see Matthew Lillard. I want to see like a lot of like these like people who I haven't met yet that I want the opportunity to meet, but. I actually found out a few hours ago that Matthew Lillard will be in Kansas City for the Planet Comic-Con there, which happens to be literally the week of spring break.
Wow, I think I saw a video of him. Like he's doing the rounds now.
Dude, I mean, like I feel like he is going to be gaining like a lot of traction now because of Five Nights at Freddy's.
Which is crazy because his performance was like good, but he didn't have a ton to do.
That's what I find like the funniest part about the movie was like he's only in like a combined like maybe like 3 minutes
total. So,
and it's like his performance is just so legendary.
It was definitely something for sure. The whole movie was something for sure.
It's just like I hated the fact that like it wasn't like the critics just hated it.
Yeah, I think, and my view on the movie, just to go on a quick side tangent, my view on the movie is that it had some of the worst acting I'd seen in a while. The main character from Zathura and Hunger Games. He was good most of the time, and then
Josh Hutcherson.
And then but Vanessa was terrible the whole movie.
She really was. You could just tell like she just like I feel like they just kind. I don't know what they like the acting style that they gave her.
I don't. Yeah, and the stepmom, or the mom of the kid who like the custody,
the aunt,
who was custody, were horrible.
Now,
horrible acting.
What can you say about the attorney Doug,
who said,
"I shouldn't be here right now."
I shouldn't be here. Yeah, Matt Pat was the best actor in the whole movie.
How about Corey Kinchin, the taxi driver?
I wish I knew who that was before. Like my buddy was like, "That's," I was like,
funny enough. So Matt Pat did a short of what was supposed to happen at the end. They were going to drop the F-bomb.
That would have been really funny.
Well, because every
Like, just have
PG
him do
movie
it.
is allowed
One.
just one F-bomb, and to use it right then and there at the end of the movie
That'd be really
would have just been
funny.
awesome.
Just Afton yelling. Yeah, I thought it had one of the coolest thriller concepts of all time.
Yeah.
With this like dream hunting, like taking medication to try to like find a mystery solved in a dream. Like that whole thing was one of the coolest concepts. And then like these dead children like possessing souls, haunting people. So good, but also on Five Nights at Freddy's, so it was just laughable. Like the whole thing was crazy.
And
I
people
just couldn't do it.
also really go off of the fact that it's like, it wasn't as gory as like the video games are meant to be.
Yeah, which is understandable because Five Nights at Freddy's is like inherently kind of like for kids, you know what I mean? And so
For teens and almost
teens,
like
yeah,
young adults.
Yeah, it's like I could see the 12 to like 17 audience, like this is what they're made for. And then us, it's like, oh, like my childhood
Yeah.
is in a movie now. That's so crazy. I have to go see it.
Because I've been waiting for this for the 8 years it's been in production hell.
yeah, everyone has.
Like I
Everyone-
remember like back then and like anytime I get access to the internet, I would always look up Five Nights at Freddy's movie and go to news to see
Yeah.
any like updates. And nothing came of it until like 2018 when they announced like a new
Uh-huh.
director. And then after that, it was really just like, well, what's gonna happen?
yeah.
Like, is it canceled? Is it still gonna happen? And then we get confirmation on Reddit of like all the different screenplays. And then Scott's like, this one's gonna work. By the way, filming is happening this spring.
Yeah, which is insane. I mean, it was like I said, it was a good concept for a movie. I understand why they did it. It's just I can't imagine a comparison of something like
Right.
a childhood thing like resurfacing as like this. It was just a big internet phenomenon for no reason, and like I mean, if you were waiting for a movie, you could just watch the cumulative like 20 hours of Matt Pat's theories. On, on the
that's
game.
what my sister did. So,
More
like,
interesting than the actual game.
so
is-
she was before we went to the movie, which was a Thursday night screening, which top tier. I
yeah.
didn't have to deal with any kids.
Oh yeah.
She's like, so give me like a rundown of like the lore. I'm like, here, watch this like 10-minute video,
Yeah, 10 minutes. Give me a rundown on the lore. I'm surprised you didn't have like a
like a full
like
Matt
a
Pat.
ramble, like an hour long. So like, okay, back in the bite of 80s, like whatever. I do not know FNAF lore, so
That's one thing that like I did not like about the movie. It's like there was a lot of questions that were still unanswered. Like it really dealt with like just the whole like William Afton killing the kids, stuffing them in the bodies.
yeah,
There was nothing about like the bite of 87. There wasn't anything about like what happened to like Michael Afton's kids or
Yeah.
William Afton's kids. Like his son in the video games, his oldest son had his youngest son killed because his youngest son was afraid of the animatronics, but at the oldest son's birthday party, he brought the youngest son and threw him into the mouth of the animatronic, and because of his like tears, it caused the spring locks to fail, crushing the head.
yeah. Is that the bite of 80s? Is that the lore of that, or
Well, that's what Markiplier says. When he's like,
Yeah.
was that the bite of 87?
That's the meme that I know. I told because I watched it with my buddy Adam, not Halesha. This is my Adam plug
Yeah.
for every episode that I have to do. I told him like, if you have any criticisms of the movie based on lore, I'm gonna like strangle you. I was like, I was like, if you come out to me like, oh, but actually, the ball pit is actually a time machine. I was like, dude, I was like, if you start saying that stuff during the movie, I'm gonna strangle you. I was
Yeah.
like, I cannot handle it. I was like, if you start saying this movie is bad because it's not like lore specific, call up MatPat if you want to
Yeah.
do that. I was like, this is not me.
But overall, I gave the movie about like a 9 out of 10 as a
That's
fan.
insane. That's insane.
I mean, like just because I'm a fan.
I think like enjoyment level, 8.5, 9 out of 10. Like
from a movie
as
perspective,
good of a movie though, 6.5. You know what I mean? Like it's 7 maybe.
well,
you know,
hey,
it
we
was
all
fun.
we all have opinions, and I'm gonna respect you.
Yeah, I don't respect. No, I'm kidding. I respect yours.
All right, that's it. I'm out.
Yeah, they're throwing the towel in. So, was there anybody else that you've met recently that you wanted to?
Well,
And then, how did your interaction with Gus go?
So 2 days ago, I met Skillet again,
Yeah.
which was amazing. So funny story about this. So I waited outside of the venue for 3 hours until the meet and greet started.
Damn.
But
Were you
keep,
like first in line?
yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But keep in mind, there's so on the billing was Skillet, and then this other band called Theory of a Dead Man, and then this other band called Saint Asonia.
Mhm.
Theory of a Dead Man also had a meet and greet, and there were people waiting for them too. But the biggest line was Skillet.
Yeah.
So Theory of a Dead Man went first. They got their meet and greet done, and then Skillet went. I was the first one to meet him. And it's just so funny. Like you walk in, like where the meet and greet was, you have to walk through these doors, and then immediately to your right is a table where you set like all like the other package, like the other stuff in the package that you get. So I set it down, turn to my left. They're just right there, and they're like, "Hey, what's up? How you doing?" I'm like, "Oh,
It's
boy."
crazy,
Literally. And so I walk up to John, the lead singer, and I'm like, "Hey, man, how you doing?" He's like, "Hey, how you doing, man?" So I'm like, I just want to say this because I couldn't say this at Winter Jam, but your music, your podcast, and your book have really brought me closer to Jesus Christ, and I really could not thank you enough for that. So I just want to tell you in person right now, just thank you for bringing me closer to Jesus. He's like, "Oh, man, thank you so much. Here, bring it in. We're going to hug it out." And I'm like, I'm not about to hug John Cooper from Skillets.
that's insane.
Yeah.
Wait, had you met him at Winter Jam?
Yeah.
Also, like you like shook his hand and talked to him and everything. Like at
well, it
Winter
was one of
Jam?
those things of like, that was the first time I met them and I couldn't say anything. So I literally walked up. I'm like, "How you doing?"
What would you do if he was like, "What's up, Vinny?"
Oh my God. I'd literally be like, you'd have to call the ambulance right there because I would just pass out.
I'm trying to think of it. Well, one that's crazy that you hugged him. What a bizarre, like,
Yeah.
what the most intimate way to meet someone that you like. I do wonder. Try to put yourself in the perspective of these famous people. I couldn't imagine having somebody wait outside for 3 hours and like they get this flurry of nervousness when they meet me, and then when I hug them, it's like one of the pinnacle moments. I just couldn't imagine being in that position. How do you think they're feeling about that? I mean, can you even?
I just think that they're happy. Like people actually want to come out and meet them. I feel like from a band perspective, it's like people are paying to meet us. That's the best part about it.
Yeah.
Like they want that interaction. And even the guy, the photographer was like that, who was like the tour manager. He's like, so they're not going to sign anything. They're not going to like take like selfies. They want to interact with you. They don't want to be looking down, signing a photo. They want to talk to you. And I'm like, that's what I want a band to do. I want to meet a band that does not want to like sign stuff in front of you. I want a band who like wants to like take the photo. They want to talk to you. They want to like get to know you more. That's what I look for when I look for these meet and greets. It's like, how much interaction can I get with this band? That's just what I want to have happen.
Yeah, and I think that's just, I'm trying to put it into the perspective of the people. Like, it's just so cool that you're like, now you're at a podcast talking about it, you know, like a month later or however long it was. And
like
I
2 days ago.
I know, yeah, it was fresh on your mind. You know?
Yeah.
So I just couldn't imagine like being one of those people that gets to do that. Because yesterday I met, right? Yesterday was Monday, yeah. Yesterday I met Destiny, who is like a political YouTuber.
Oh, yeah.
Like one of the first streamers ever. He came on campus and did a speech. And it was so bizarre. I asked him to be on my podcast, and he said, maybe, which is no.
Yeah, which is like literally
which is just no.
No.
But I took this picture, which is just so cool.
Oh,
and it was so
dang.
crazy because he had a little question thing after.
Yeah.
And I went up and like asked him like it was a Q&A, like one of those political like gotcha things, but it was a really civil.
Yeah.
I just went up there and asked him a question, and he like answered it, and then when I came, he was like, "Hey, what's up?" And I was like, "That's so sick!" Like just that little thing and that stress of standing there, and then I'm talking to the president who hosted the event, and he's like, "Oh, he's right over there." I was like, "Whoa!"
Yeah.
And I look over, he's like 5 feet away from me, just standing on his phone.
Yeah.
I was like, "That's insane!" Like I could just go over and just like, "What's up, bro?" That is so bizarre.
I feel like this is a good segue to like the concert, like junkie thing that I put on, which is, that's going to be a lot to talk about too.
Yeah.
In my opinion, concerts are one of the best stress relievers because you stop what you're doing. You take away all the stress in your life and you give an hour and a half to just listening and seeing good music. That's just what I feel like is the best part about live concerts. You take away everything that's going on in your life, throw it out for an hour and a half, and soak in that just positive energy that a concert can bring you.
Yeah, and it's so surreal to, because especially if you make music or you do music, it's so cool to just see like these people are experts at their craft. You know what I mean? They're so good. I saw Chicago in Ames like 5 months ago.
Yeah.
And they're like 60 years old.
Yeah, and they're going to be actually in the same place.
Shredding.
They were going to be in the same place that Skillet was in Waukee.
Oh, really? Then they are going to be?
Yeah,
they are
going to be.
And they rock the house, and it's so cool to be like, just the intricacy of all the music that they're playing is they have a whole band. Like, it's just so cool. And I'd imagine like with some of the bands that are a little heavier and that you listen to, I'd imagine that you're listening for a whole different thing. You know what I mean? You're like in a mosh pit or like jumping and like.
Believe it or not, I'm actually not a mosher at all.
Well, you're alive, so I'd assume you are.
So like
I wouldn't be talking to you. You'd be.
I'm very much the guy who wants to be just in the front, not in like the middle with like all the moshing and stuff. Like I just like. I've seen too many people get hurt in the mosh pit, and I'm just like, I'm not gonna be a part of that.
I've never understood that. I like see videos of people getting like full on drop kicked. Like, I mean, both feet in the air, Bowser forward smash, destroying somebody standing there. I'm like, this is insanity. I was like, literally. I cannot imagine being here and enjoying myself.
Literally, like, I've seen like there was like this one band. Have you heard of Pantera?
No.
So
that sounds like a Terraria boss. Continue.
Pantera is like a heavy band from like the 80s and 90s, but they had a cover band actually come to a place in Des Moines, Woolies, and it was just mosh after mosh after mosh, and I'm like, this is just insane.
Yeah, that's it. One of my buddies wants to go to a Kili Kami concert, which is like this like hard like, and he's like, I was like, I'm seeing the videos of people like. Dying there, like there's like been deaths at these concerts. Like if you go there, you're not coming back. It's like, you're gonna die if you're there.
But that's what I like about going to like see like Skillet, because it's like they're a Christian band. Nobody's drinking. Everybody's just having a fun time. That's what was the best part about being in the front of that show was I got to be like so close to them and kind of like feel the energy they were giving off. Like you saw the photo in the front during one of their songs. John Cooper, the lead singer, came like right in front of me and held the mic out and let me sing a few like a line to like.
I want to see the video of that.
I have I don't have the video, but I have the moment when I stuck my hand out because he was right there and he looked down and went like.
Yeah, I saw
gave
that.
The high five.
Yeah.
That was probably the most surreal moment because it's like I'm just high fiving the guy right now, and then before they played the song Hero, he does like this little like talk of like I want to go back to a time where I can raise my kids and not the government. He's like, I want to go back to a time where I can fully say that Jesus Christ is my hero. So during that talk, like there was a girl who was celebrating her Sweet 16, which proud parent moment there for that to celebrate the right way. And after he said that, I just screamed, I love you, John. He went, I love you too, brother.
Yeah.
And then people started cheering.
I was like, in that picture, you are like in the middle touching the stage.
No, like legit. Like that's what's so crazy. Like it's like from me to the wall. That's how close it was to the stage.
Yeah.
Which was insane. Like I've never been that close for a show. Well, I mean, if you're not counting the tribute bands at Woolies because there's no barricade.
Yeah.
But for an actual show, I've never been that close.
How many people were at that event?
Easily like 3,000 to 4,000 people, which was almost sold out for that venue. And that was the first rock show that they've had there. Which, man, I'm hoping they bring them back because they just announced Stained and Seether, which I love Stained.
Okay.
Stained is like the Aaron Lewis. I don't know if you ever heard of him. Mm-mm. He's a pretty big topic right now because he's very conservative.
Okay.
And he recently posted a photo of like him and like a bunch of friends who killed like a bunch of coyotes, and they arranged them to spell Trump 2024, which that's a little
probably the most
up.
Alpha thing, but also
it's just bizarre. So stupid.
Just bizarre. Just asking to have people upset at you.
But I don't get into that stuff. I don't want to. It's not really worth my time. But
it's weird when a concert becomes that. Like, it's weird. Like,
but then he also like he did like solo stuff, and this was around the time that people were starting to not like Joe Biden. And during one of his shows, he literally was like, I want everybody to chant F Joe Biden.
That's so bizarre.
And I'm like, really? This is just so stupid.
I just don't care like what if your take agrees with mine or whatever. If you're on stage, like you don't need a Green Day it. Like you can just
literally
you can just.
And even like at Green Day, like when I saw them in 2017, like Billy Joe was like, I don't want to talk politics or anything. I want to bring love to this. Also in American Idiot, he's like, fuck you, Donald Trump. It's like, okay, you don't want to bring politics in. You want to throw that out there.
Here you are.
I hate when people get like political and like all that stuff on stage. But like with Skillet, it's like they're religious. They can talk about that stuff.
Yeah. I don't think religion. It's a weird like religion is political thing that I don't think is necessarily fair.
Yeah. But like even still, like Skillet is a Christian band. I know they can talk about that stuff, and I'm fine with that. But when it comes to like other bands who like aren't like a political band or a religious band, keep it out of your mouth and just play your music.
Yeah, just play your music. Just jam out. You know,
Just jam.
Like,
just have
jam.
fun. That's what we're here to do. We're here to have fun, not like listen to your political beliefs because I don't care. I want to listen to your music, not listen to what you have to say about this world.
Yeah. Do you have a list of the concerts you've been to?
I do, but it'll probably take me the rest of the time to tell you about them. But I'll list you off my top 5 that I've been to.
Okay.
So top 5, starting with number 5, probably, if I were to say, I'd probably say Kid Rock. Now I don't like his political beliefs.
Yeah.
But that man could put on a hell of a show for his age.
I'd imagine.
He's up there jumping on stage, like throwing hands up and like playing. He plays every instrument. He played he was like the DJ. He was the guitar player. He was a bassist. He was a drummer. Just what he can do on stage is just so cool, and that's what I love about it. Number 4, I would say probably Greta Van Fleet in Des Moines. Now, I saw them, this was last year, and it was the first time playing in Des Moines in like 5 years. So it was cool because I was actually right next to the stage. I was like section 102, which is like, this is the stage, this is like the pit crowd, and I'm like right here. I'm that close to the stage, which was probably the best part.
Yeah.
So it just was so cool to be that close to them and just like be basically from like here to the TV. Like it was that insane.
You could like smell them. You could
literally
touch their feet.
Yeah.
Their spit droplets can hit my face.
Basically. So, and then number 3, when I saw Bowling for Soup in Omaha, that was just fun because the first time I've actually ever traveled for a concert.
Did they do the theme song? They did. Oh, that's so sick. Did everyone pop off?
Oh, literally, yeah. I mean, like that. What makes it so much fun is like they play the song fast, so it's like a dancing song. Like instead of like how they play it in like the actual show.
Yeah.
But they play it like faster, so like people are like doing like the circle run in the middle of the pit.
Oh, that's great. They had a pit for that.
Like literally, like it was a pit. Like it's a punk show. I feel like everybody
they did the Phineas and Ferb theme song,
yeah.
Yeah, so I could not imagine like spinning my arms. It's 104 days. I just could not imagine it.
It actually was not. It was like not as insane as you would think.
There's like blood hitting the sand, like building a rocket or fighting a mommy. I was like, that's just crazy.
No, but the best part was like when Driving Our Sister, Insane, and Kansas Goes Phineas. I have the recording of it when they played it, and
did everyone yelp?
No, but like literally on the recording, you can hear me go Phineas.
It's pretty funny.
It was the funniest thing, but still, it was so weird.
Did you meet them after that show?
I actually met him before the show.
Well, because I know that you're like, I mean, you were on his show, like his podcast, like he follows you on Facebook, and
but that
like,
was
all this stuff.
I actually started getting into his podcast after I met them.
Oh,
so I didn't.
Okay.
So, but funny thing about that show was when I met them there. So beforehand they do like an acoustic set, like Jarrett Reddick does, and then their bass player Rob. So in that, they played like a one song, and then they're like, "Give it up for our other guitar player Rob." And I started like clap, and everybody followed. And then Jarrett just looks at me and goes, "You know, you're really good at that." And he like looked right at me, and I'm like, for a second, I had to like process like, he's looking right at me.
I'm good.
Yeah. And then he's like, "You're really good at like starting stuff like that. You should get in like the radio business." I'm like, "I'm thinking about starting a podcast." He's like, "There you go. I'm like good at this."
Damn.
Yeah. So then I was like, by the way, like he has another podcast called the Rockstar Dad Show where he and the other like in the drummer who are both like dads and like have to manage being a rock stars. I told him, by the way, I love the Rockstar Dad Show. I was like, "Hey, thank you, man. I appreciate that." It was just like so like insane to like see him locking eyes.
Yeah.
Like I had to process it. Like, is he talking to me?
Dude.
Yeah, if
you guys are best friends, get him on the show, bro. I'll have you and I'll have him right there, and we'll.
If only I can buy a flight and hotel from Texas.
Yeah, get him over here. Get him over here. I'll zoom him in.
Yeah,
I don't really care. It's
so
crazy.
After that, number 2, I would say probably Slipknot at the Iowa State Fair. I mean, it's our hometown show, and it's their first ever time playing at the Iowa State Fair. So I mean, like that was probably the most insane show, just by the fact that it was completely sold out. And that's at the grandstand.
Yeah.
In the Iowa State.
I think I remember that was recent, wasn't it? That was
2019.
Yeah, I think I remember hearing about that.
That was
People
like
talking about that.
right before I started community college, which
Yeah.
was insane.
Yeah.
But that was just crazy. Like it was weird because so my grandma got me and my buddy tickets in like the complete back area of the grandstand. So I was like, you know what, we're gonna get a little bit better than that. So I bought like the first level of the grandstand for like at least like $70. And like, no, we can get a little bit closer. So I bought like right next to the stage. We're like,
you were smelling them again. I mean,
Yeah.
you're just like, you might as well not even meet them. I mean, you're so close, you can just.
But what was so crazy about that show was that was the first ever show they've had metal detectors for. Like,
Hey,
you know,
that wouldn't shock me at all.
yeah, you know how you have to get metal detectors like before you walk into the gates for the fair?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you have to have them before you walk into the gates to the grandstand.
That doesn't shock me. People are bringing knives in there.
But,
for the mosh.
keep in mind, so I actually read this in an article. There were more arrests the next night at Zach Brown Band than there were at Slipknot.
Which is so shocking to me. I think
And then this is another cool thing. They had to remove all the ushers. You know how like
Why?
you know how like the ushers there are like young.
Yeah.
They removed them and brought in like police because they thought it was going to get really rowdy, but it actually was super calm.
Yeah. That's really funny. It's like a bunch of boomers making these. I mean, I'd probably bring the cavalry in if I knew that there could potentially be a mosh coming in.
Yeah.
And this just like.
But it
blood
was
on your
actually
hands.
like super calm and everybody was respectful. That's what I found the best. And my parents, so we run a beer tent in the grandstand.
You do?
Well, they do,
Okay.
but they made a lot of money in tips that night.
I'd imagine.
Yeah.
Well, it's a bunch of like happy Christian people who are like enjoying the show. You know what I mean? They're gonna.
But that's the
This
weird
is the
thing about
communion bowl. I mean,
that's the weird thing about the fair is like they don't run beer tents for the first night, which is usually the Christian night.
Okay, but they did it for this one.
Well, I mean, like they did it for Slipknot because
Yeah.
like it's a different band, but still, like I just found that insane that they made over $1,000 in tips that night. Split between about
night.
split between about 6 people. That's
good-
almost like $200 a person.
Yeah, for tips, which is awesome. Were you working?
No, I went to that. So that was actually before I started
Uh-huh.
working. I started working back in 2021, which
Do you get to kind of see the shows when you're working?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
we have a tent set up like perfectly right close to the stage. So on nights where it's like not that many people, they usually like will shut us down like midway, like halfway through like the main headline.
Uh-huh.
And then there's some nights where they'll shut us down literally in the beginning of the headline, like at Lindsay Sterling, which was terrible.
I wish I knew who that was.
She's a violinist. I don't know
Okay,
if you ever.
yeah.
So that one was just terrible.
Like it was a bad performance?
bad like beer sales.
Oh, okay.
But then the lowest attended night, the Black Keys. I don't know. You probably don't know who they are. They're more of like a rock band. We actually made almost like $70 per person in tips that night. 5,000 people at that show, and split between 6 people, $70 in tips per
That's
person.
pretty good, right?
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know how the tips go. The only Iowa State Fair show I went and saw was Earth, Wind, and Fire. Like,
Oh,
like
that's
3-4 years ago.
That
So
is a good show.
they were jamming. They were jamming for sure. A bunch of old hoagies dancing. But I wanted to talk a little bit about the podcast that you're doing, the Cornfield Sports Pod.
But before we get to that, you want me to name my number one?
Yes, number one. Yep.
Number one concert of all time is Greta Van Fleet in Omaha it was like sometime in July. I think it was like July 23rd, 2022. Only reason, that was the first time I've seen them, and I just had too much adrenaline.
You were just hyped up.
Yeah. Oh my God. Like I took so many videos that night, and in like most of like the videos from like the first part of their set, the camera's just shaking.
What was it? Were you like hopped up on like Celsius or something?
No, it was just the adrenaline. That's what it was. It was just so much adrenaline. Heart, it's like pumping so fast. Like I just am like, I've been following this band. Like I started listening to them when I got COVID because I was stuck in my room and in my house, and all I could do was just listen to music or watch TV. So I started listening to Greta Van Fleet, and it was at that point that I was like, I'm hooked, because that was when they had just released a new album of theirs, and my sister was hooked immediately. And then she was like, "You got to listen to this band." So I did, and I fell in love with them. So
And then you gotta see, especially when it's a fresh listen too, and you go see them, it's a whole new thing.
Oh my gosh, it was insane the entire the entire night driving there.
Yeah, I would say that would probably be super exciting too, when you get to like listen to the music or things near it. Or do you listen to their music when you're driving to?
Oh yeah,
their show. Okay, some people say that's sacrilege, but
no, it's so much fun because you get to refresh.
You're
your
gonna
memory
prime yourself to really jam.
You hype yourself up before the show. Like I do it with every band I go see. At least I listened to Skillet on repeat for the longest time over the weekend, trying to hype myself up for their show.
Dang, I don't know. I don't have an opinion on it quite yet. I haven't listened to the music while going to it yet, but I understand it.
Yeah.
I'll do it a few days before, like especially if I need to learn more about their catalog and find more songs.
So we can get into the podcast now.
Yeah. So walk me through that.
So we have a new podcast. It's called the Cornfield Sports Pod. It is run by Matt Menson, otherwise known as Cowboy Hat Matt.
Yep.
Blake Peterson, who is another one of my good friends, and then I'm the producer of it.
Okay. And so how did you get the producer chair? And what stopped you from being in the recording?
So, I mean, it was really just so Blake and Matt had started it.
Okay.
It was kind of their thing. And then Blake couldn't make it to an episode. So Matt reached out to me and said, hey, Blake can't make this episode. Do you want to do it this week? And I said, absolutely. So we work on a script, actually. We go based off a script.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like this where it's just we talk and just
freeform.
Yeah. So we were working on the script and Matt had told Blake, Vinny's pumping through the scripts. This is amazing. So Blake's we need to bring him in actually as co-host or something.
Mm-hmm.
So eventually, after we did the episode that I was in with Matt, he basically was like, Blake and I want to hire you as our producer. I was like, hell yes, let's do it. So he's like, I'll do the editing. All you have to do is just sit back there and monitor the sound. Make sure everything's running right. Make sure it's still recording. Make sure Blake and I are not too high or too low. Make sure it's looking good. Don't let the audio spike and stuff like that. And that's what I've been doing for the past month.
Do you write for them as well?
Yeah, I'll script with them as well.
Okay. And so what does that process look like for you?
We start basically with Iowa State sports. We'll go football, we'll go volleyball, we'll go women's and men's basketball. We'll go other stuff too. And then we'll do Blake calls it high speed wins, where we talk about soccer, lacrosse, hockey, that kind of stuff.
The others,
yeah. And then we'll get into pro sports. We start with NFL, and then we go to NBA, and then the NHL, and then we'll end with baseball, and that's it.
And so you guys just kind of run through highlights and news.
We also stick to Midwest teams. So we'll talk about for football, we'll talk about the Packers, we'll talk about the Vikings, we'll talk about the Bears, the Chiefs. Basketball, we'll talk about the Bucks, the Bulls, Timberwolves, hockey, Blackhawks, Blues, Wild. We mainly stick to local teams who are in the Midwest area because that's what people are following. They're not following teams for the NHL. They're not following the LA Kings or the Seattle Kraken or the New York Rangers. They're following teams who are local to the Midwest. Yeah.
And so when you guys are recording, how long are you guys recording for?
It can vary. Sometimes it's if Matt really gets into it and it's a bad week for football and volleyball, we could go for an hour and a half. But then he edits it down because there's a lot of dead air too. So he basically it can be an hour at best.
Oh, okay. So it's not crazy, but an hour of recording is kind of a lot for you to be monitoring. And so
most of the time, I'm also following the script and seeing where they are and stuff. Either that or I'm on my phone.
Well, do you feel like there's room for growth, or do you think you're still gonna start your own show?
I feel like there's still room for growth. I'm fairly new to it, so there's a possibility that anything can happen in the future.
Right. And do you have, unrelated to that, do you have plans to start your own show and kind of pursue that?
I do, but then it's also at the point of what can I talk about? What is there to talk about?
The difficulty.
That's what's so tough about doing a podcast. It's what can you talk about? I could talk about music related stuff. I could talk about sports. I could talk about movies, entertainment. I just don't know what I could do.
Yeah, the hardest part about making a podcast is everyone wants to do it because they're starting and they're this conversation's so interesting. We should record this. You know what I mean? And then they do 3 episodes and then they're done because the question you need to answer is like, can this concept last me 100 episodes?
Yo, yeah.
Like, can I talk about this for 100 hours? And if your answer is not yes to that, don't. Like, you probably should do it, or like tweak what it is. So like with music, like if your thing is, my name is Vinny and I talk about music, that's just too broad. You can't talk about that for 100 hours.
Oh, absolutely.
What you need to say is like, my name is Vinny and I review new music by certain artists, and
Right.
you know what I mean? That's like a whole new concept of something to do. So it's so daunting to look at the podcast scene and be like, let's do it. You know what I mean? But you have a really good voice for podcasting. I think you're well spoken. I think your voice is satisfying to listen to. I think you have good podcast
As
etiquette.
told to me by the creator of Animaniacs, Tom Ruger.
I think he was right. So I mean, you have a opportunity to do it. I mean, I wouldn't doubt that it's within your wheelhouse.
Even if it wasn't podcast stuff, even the radio business would be good too.
Would be great, and then you could have someone. And if your producing background, even though it's not super involved, but it's like
the only downside to doing a producer job is that I'm sitting in that booth most of the time, but I can't talk that much because it doesn't get picked up on the audio.
Yeah, sorry. I mean, like your producer looks good on a resume when you want to say like, but I want to get into like talking.
Yeah. Like I would want to work for like Laser 103.3.
Mm-hmm.
Like they have like their morning block with Heather and Wicket. They talk about like on Mondays they talk about weekend highlights. Tuesdays they talk about tell us something we don't know. Wednesdays is something new. Thursday is like, what are you watching? And then Friday is first world problems.
Yeah.
Like I would want to get into like that, like have like a different theme each week. Like if I came in here on Mondays and I talked about like, asked like Iowa State students, hey, send me your weekend highlights. We'll talk about that on this podcast and we'll go from there.
Yeah. Something that has an unlimited market that you can kind of bring a personality to.
Absolutely.
Is like the most important thing that you need.
Right.
Yeah, and so I think the podcast is cool. I think that it's awesome that you're doing that, and of course you're legend on Spotlight. So you gotta spread your wings and fly onto some other shows.
Yeah.
That's basically all I got for you. We're running about an hour 16. So this is really good. But if there's any last plugging you want to do, if there's anything else you want to say before we wrap this bad boy up, the floor is yours.
Yeah. Basically the biggest thing, just follow Cornfield Sports Pod on Spotify or Apple Music or wherever you listen to podcasts. My Twitter handle is VinaciousC20 or VinaciousD23. If you can follow me on Instagram, I post many of like big moments in like sports or concerts and stuff like that. Basically just the life.
Yeah, the living the life of Vinicius D. But it was awesome having you on again, Vinny.
Heck yeah, man. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah.